Test, test, test. Well, welcome on in, hockey fans, to World Ice Arena in Flushing Meadows, New York. This evening on Midnight Sports, we've got a good one for you. It's the New York City Raiders hosting the Long Island Enforcers in a Tier 3 Bantam A tournament-bound game. The Enforcers come into this game with a 1-4 record in the LIAHL. The Enforcers sport a 4-4 record in exhibition and non-league games, having dropped a 3-2 decision to the Long Island Sharks yesterday. This month, among other games, the Enforcers have beaten Aviator by a score of 7-0, lost to the Long Island Kings 5-3 in one game and 5-1 in another, and have beaten the Long Island Edge by a score of 6-1. Expect the Enforcers to show up and give the Raiders a good game today. The Raiders come into this game on a 3-game winning streak. Yesterday, the Raiders calmed the Long Beach Lightning by a score of 12-4 and then tamed the Great Neck Bruins by a score of 10-2. Last weekend on Sunday, the Raiders lassoed the Long Island Mustangs by a score of 3-1. So stick around. We'll have puck drop for period one coming up next. It's the Raiders and the Enforcers right here on Midnight Sports. But first, we'll visit with our sponsors. Hockey fans, do you find yourself dealing with a recalcitrant co-inhabitant? Does someone in your family seem to relish walking away without answering your questions? Is there a noxious but unlocatable odor emanating from somewhere in your house? If so, you may be suffering from TCS. That's right, Teenage Child Syndrome. Child Syndrome affects us all differently, but the experts agree there's literally nothing you can do. You can yell, cry, pout, act indifferent, talk, beg, or plead, but it won't work. The only known cure for TCS at present is time, and time alone. Eventually, your teenage child will grow older and hopefully wiser, thereby curing you of the worst afflictions of TCS. But until that day, just know as you sift through piles of laundry, half-eaten snacks found left in the crevices of your couch, or even just dishes piled high in the sink when you made clear the dishwasher had room, know that you are not alone. TCS. Mama never told you it was going to be like this. Well, looks like we're getting a scoreboard fixed here at World Ice Arena. Because of that, we might have an extra long look in as the players go about their warm-ups. So we'll let you listen in here for warm-ups at World Ice Arena. We've got the Raiders and the Enforcers coming up next. Well, there goes the whistle to end warm-ups. Both teams will collect the pucks near their nets and go over some last-minute strategy as always. Look to be still working on the board over in the scorer's booth, as it is a little bit different here at World Ice Arena than at the Raiders' other home rink, City Ice Pavilion in Long Island City, New York. Looks like the Enforcers will collect at their bench here. Get some tips and scouting from their coaches. Raiders, as per their tradition, will collect around their own net to have that last-minute conversation. There's the board in business. Well, 15 minutes thrown up there. Period one coming up. I know I keep promising it, but surely we'll have puck drop here soon. All right, the Raiders throw their line out there to start this game. It's going to be Samosi, Bizarro, Berliner. As the forwards, it'll be Steinfink and Aiden as the defensive pairing. And it'll be Jason Bricker in net tonight for the Raiders. Takes over the cage. His 5 skaters in front of him. Looking to put up a strong showing, just like he did yesterday against the Long Beach Lightning in the second half of that game. All right, the enforcers are out. We're getting ready to roll here in the first period at World Ice Arena. Goalies checked, scorekeeper checked. Puck's dropped, one forward there by Samosi. Steinfink recovers now in the neutral zone, flings that puck forward. Samosi chops it down. He's got Bizarro streaking into the zone now. Bizarro in the zone, looking for a pass from Samosi. Instead, it comes back to Berliner, who jams it in front, saved nicely there by the Enforcers goaltender. Enforcers chip that out of the zone. Now Samosi backtracks in the neutral zone and reverses it over to Bizarro. Bizarro skates into his own zone, has the puck come off his stick, and Aiden there to send that puck up to Samosi. Puck finds Samosi in the neutral zone. Still Samosi. Samosi breaks in the offensive end, tries to throw a wrist shot on Cage. Instead, it's blocked there by the Enforcers, who look to get this puck out of the zone. They do. They cross the blue line momentarily, and we'll get an offside call just 42 seconds into this game. We'll have a stoppage in play with a face-off coming just outside the Enforcers' defensive zone. Well, some new skaters out there for the Raiders. It's Finkelstein at center. He's got Kalemba with him. Good to see him back out there as the Enforcers break in the offensive end, and it's turned right around. Fauci tries to chip it right past the Enforcer. Comes back into the offensive zone there for the Enforcers, but a bit too soon as they were unable to clear the zone, and we'll get another offside call. 14:06 left to go here in the first. Puck dropped again. Finkelstein wins that back and then recovers his own face-off win, chips it, and the puck goes out of play, and we'll get another quick whistle just 5 seconds after the last face-off. We'll do it all over again. It's Hyder and Gosler as a defensive pair out there. Fauci, Kalemba, and Finkelstein. Finkelstein leans over the dot, tries to win it on the backhand. Puck sits at the dot there. Finkelstein tries to kick it to Kalemba. Instead, the Enforcers come away with it weak side. Enforcers look to enter the zone, but Gosler gets there first and tries to punch that puck forward. Now the Enforcers come the other way with it. They're in the offensive zone. Mini break here. They throw a shot on Bricker. Nice save. And the Raiders try and spin that puck out of the zone. Comes up to the far point, and now it's kicked out. The Enforcers will have to cycle right through the neutral zone as they clear the offensive zone and try and dump it right back in. Hyder cuts out that pass at the blue line. Now Fauci goes to recover with Gosler's help in his own defensive end. Gosler takes the puck. He builds up speed through the neutral zone, but the puck does come off his stick, and Finkelstein back to cover. Harasses his man on a back check. No shot coming from the Enforcers. Finkelstein in the near corner now. Tries that work up that, easy for me to say. Works that up to the half wall and then out of the zone. And now here comes Kalemba through the neutral zone. He'll dump there after being told to get it deep. Fauci in on the forecheck as the Raiders make a change behind the play. 4 new skaters come out. Puck stays in the offensive end there for the Raiders. Fauci still at the end boards there. Tries to find Berliner in front. The puck pops up and over, and that's a goal. That's a Raiders goal. Sam Berliner right at the net front. The Raiders score just 2 minutes and 2 seconds into this one. It's Fauci for Berliner, and it's Raiders 1, Enforcers nothing. I'll expect a response here from the Enforcers after that early goal from the Raiders. Ensuing faceoff is going to be Petro Sinelli, Meyerowicz, Berliner as the forwards. They've got Tanoff and Steinfink out there with him. Petro Sinelli gains the offensive zone, turned right around by the Enforcers. Now Tanoff with the puck at the blue line. Chips it to himself and then gains the offensive zone. He's on the forehand, sends a shot in. Saved nicely there by the Enforcers goalie. Rebound coming, and It goes wide of the cage after hitting a stick in front. Enforcers try and work that puck out of the zone. Quick stick by Tanoff keeps the puck in the zone, at least momentarily. Berliner now takes over at the far dot. Tries to find Meyerowicz in the slot, and the backhand doesn't connect there for him. And the Raiders will have to recover in the neutral zone. Enforcers turn it the other way. Raiders turn, pick it up at their own blue line, and now go point to point. It's Petrosinelli for Tanoff. Tanoff works it up to Berliner. Berliner gains the offensive end. He's got Meyerowicz behind him. He leaves the puck there for him. Meyerowicz tries to get onto the forehand, and the Enforcers come away with it. They chip that puck up, but not out of the zone just yet. Puck now in the near corner. Obstructed view seats here for our camera. You'll just have to take my word for it. Now the puck goes to the far corner. Petrosinelli harassing his man there. Enforcers come away with it, and they are able to chip and pass that out of the zone. Raiders again try and turn that puck the other way. They do. They gain the blue line, kick it forward. Enforcers take over possession there. They go weak side. Nice pass right in front of the Enforcers bench. And now they break into the offensive zone to the Enforcers. They have a 3-on-2, trying to curl and switch to confuse the Raiders defenseman, but it's sniffed out there by Petrosinelli, who turns that puck right into the neutral zone. Raiders will have to recover. 11:28 to go here in the first period. Raiders in their own zone. Gosser on the puck behind his cage. Works that up to Petrosinelli at the near dot. Still in the defensive zone for the Raiders, and they'll have to cross the blue line. They do, but the Enforcers are there to chip it right back in, and Gosser fires in to recover. He's got Aiden out there as his defensive pair. Gosser uses the boards to bank that around and out. Must have hit an Enforcer's stick because icing is already waved on that rolling puck, and now Nate Koslewski fires in on the forecheck. Enforcers chip that up to the blue line and beyond. Now the Enforcers on a mini break. It's one-on-one on the backhand. Bouncing puck comes in on Bricker. He sticks that aside, and the Raiders try and work that out of the zone. Instead, the Enforcers take over at the far point and chip it in farther. Now Tanoff tries to chop the puck out of the zone. It sits there high on the far circle. The Enforcers trying to work that onto a forehand to get a shot on goal. The Enforcers do take over possession, but in the neutral zone, and they chip that puck right into the offensive zone again, but without possession this time. Tanoff fires that puck far side. Puck sits in the neutral zone and ping-pongs around a bit. Now it's Koslewski on the forecheck. Enforcers have possession. They'll go behind their own net here, and they'll stop and look for options. They find that diagonal pass up to the blue line, but not out. Hits a man at the blue line. Koslewski turns and looks for Vigliotti at the end wall. Instead, hits a skate and comes on out. Enforcers now break. It's a 2-on-2 for the Enforcers. They look for that pass once they gain the red line and dump the puck in deep. Enforcers go to recover at the end boards. Gosser kicks the puck around the back of his cage, and Tanoff tries to recover. Instead, the Enforcers are there first. Puck comes to the far point, chipped back in farther. It's now in the mid-slot. Enforcers get on the forehand, but the puck rolls off a stick and comes all the way out of the zone after the Raiders are able to clear. Enforcers will recoil in their own zone. They chip it right past their defensive blue line and come right back strong side. Enforcers dump in again. Hyder now goes to pick up the puck. Hyder on the puck. Sends that over to Bizarro, right in front of the Raiders bench, and the Enforcers turn that right back into the offensive zone just a little too soon. And we'll get an offside call here with 9:31 left to play. Face-off coming just outside the Raiders' defensive zone. Gives us a moment to pause for station identification. You're watching Midnight Sports. It's youth hockey, substitute camera work, and bad jokes. Just not in that order. Midnight Sports. Well, so much for the offside call there. Must have been an icing. No red line gained, and the Raiders have an offensive zone faceoff, which they win and dump into the end wall. Puck now cycled behind the Enforcer's cage. Berliner over to Bizarro. Bizarro on the backhand. Tries to dangle his man. He does. He's at the near corner. He passes that over to Berliner. An amazing save there by the Enforcer's goaltender, going from his right to left. And he shuts down Berliner on the one-timer in what looked to be a wide-open net. Now the pass comes into the slot. Creeping in is Tanoff. That shot hits the Enforcer's goalie's shoulder, goes over the cage, and the Enforcers live to fight another day. Hyder works that puck down low. Comes off Berliner's stick and Bizarro's, and the Enforcers will take over in the near corner. Enforcers working hard against Berliner there at the near half wall. Puck still sits there, being told to move it. Are all four players in? Samosi now picks up the puck behind the net. Still Samosi there, looking for a player in the slot. Comes up high, and it comes to Berliner now. Berliner looking into the crease for Bizarro. Cut out nicely by the Enforcers. Bizarro now curls behind his own net. He's on the backhand, tries to work the puck over to himself. He does. Bizarro now turns at the dot. Shot doesn't get through as it hits a defenseman in front. Berliner picks up the puck now. Still Berliner on the backhand. Berliner behind the cage now. Goes to the forehand, finds Bizarro for the one-timer. Again, a stick gets in the way, and the Enforcers work that up to the near point. Puck still at the near point. And Bizarro takes over again. He breaks in. He's at the dot. Hits a skate in front. Shot doesn't reach the net, and Berliner will go over to recover. Berliner back for Bizarro. It's a lot of offensive zone time here for the Raiders. All 10 skaters must be tired out there as Bizarro tries to take over at the far half wall. Puck comes over to Samosi. He jams his man up enough to get the puck to Berliner, but then the enforcers with a nice back check take the puck out of their zone. They're going to skate through the neutral zone, and Samosi on the back check there gums up his man, comes up to the point, just kicked aside there by Bricker, and the enforcers are able to keep it in the zone at the far point. Hyder goes behind his own net to take over. He reverses it over, and again comes to the far point to the enforcers, who are only able to dump that deeper. Berliner now up to Samosi. Samosi chips that out of the zone, up to Bizarro, and the Raiders will get a change out of this. And it's a 1-on-2 for Bizarro as he tries to go around his man. It's taken out of the play there. No call coming, despite half the crowd wanting one. Now Gossler takes over at center ice. Gossler at the red line, has the puck on his backhand, just dumps that in. Enforcers go to recover in their own end. Enforcers now reverse to the far half wall. Puck comes up to the blue line, not out. Steinfink keeps at least momentarily. Puck sits in the high slot, comes to Fauci. Fauci on the forehand, looks for a shot and then a pass. Oh, he nearly connected with Finkelstein there in the low slot. But the puck skipped over his stick. Raiders able to keep the puck in the zone. They find Kalemba now in the slot, curling to the near dot. Puck hits goalie's chest protector and hops over the cage. Another nice save there for the enforcers. Now the Raiders are in the far corner. Heavy hitting going on there as the puck just sits momentarily until Finkelstein comes away with it at the far half wall. Bouncing puck comes through the slot, doesn't find a stick, rolls harmlessly to the near corner. Raiders now try and collect the puck. It's Kalemba again in the corner. Puck now comes to Finkelstein, it looks like at the near half wall. Gossler waits at the near point for the puck to come to him. It does, and he sends that puck in deeper. Hits an enforcer, and now the enforcers look to get this out of the zone. They do. They chip it right out of the zone to the enforcers, and they'll have to recover possession at center ice. They've got it. They gain the offensive zone. Slow puck rolls all the way into the near corner and then around, and Steinfink takes over. Steinfink uses the boards to get that puck up and out of the zone. Now Fauci with speed through the neutral zone. He's got the puck on his forehand. He sends the puck in farther, sticked aside there by the enforcer's goaltender. Enforcers try to take over in the far corner. It's Finkelstein now. Reverses over to Fauci. Fauci looking for a teammate in front. Instead tries the jam play, shut down again by the enforcer's goaltender. Enforcers cross the blue line. They're into the neutral zone now, and they gain the offensive zone, but without possession. Tanoff all over his man, takes him out of the play, and then chips the puck up to the far point, but not out. Enforcers have the puck. They cycle it lower. 4 enforcers at the blue line as they make some changes, and Fauci's able to chip that into the neutral zone. Puck just sits in the neutral zone momentarily, and the enforcers lob that puck up and in. Bouncing puck goes wide of the cage. The enforcers in on the forecheck, look for a teammate in front. Tanoff cuts out any play there. Clock continues to tick. 5:10 left to go here in the first period. Very few stoppages in play thus far. Heavy hit there at the near point. No arm raised. Meyerowicz looks to come away with it. He's on a mini break now. Meyerowicz in the slot. Dangles the goalie, and another nice save as the enforcer's goalie stays with him the entire way. And this remains a 1-0 game in favor of the Raiders. Enforcers now break through the neutral zone. They're on a break of their own. The enforcers in all alone on Bricker. They're able to go forehand, backhand, and score. That's a Long Island Enforcers goal with 4:44 left to go here in the first period. We have a tie hockey game. Well, the teams traded breakaways there, but only one found pay dirt as the enforcers were able to get that puck into the Raiders' net. So, ensuing faceoff, it's Berliner, Petrosinelli, and Meyerowicz out there as the puck comes right in front of the stands here, and the enforcers do come away with it. It's Gossler back. It's a 1-on-1. He kicks that puck off the stick of his opponent, and Hyder will take over at the near point. Puck doesn't escape the zone yet. The enforcers take it back. In the offensive zone again, they look to work it deeper, and now Berliner recovers behind his own net. Berliner on the forehand, chips that up to Meyerowicz on the boards. Enforcers get there too, not before Berliner in to support Meyerowicz takes the puck out of his zone. It's a 1-on-3 now as Berliner chips it farther. He's beaten one man, but he's in the far corner. Needs to find a teammate on the backhand. Berliner still on the backhand. He finds Petrosinelli for the one-timer, but Petro gets handcuffed, and the enforcers are able to send that out of the zone. Now the enforcers back to try and cut this out before it's an icing. Icing waved as the players arrive and the puck arrives at the red line at the same time. Shot comes in from the enforcers. Kicked aside there by Bricker. Puck now up to Meyerowicz. Meyerowicz has the puck on his stick. Tries to take it farther. Comes off his stick at the last moment. And the Enforcers come right back the other way. They gain the offensive zone, but without possession, and the Raiders send it right back into the neutral zone, chipped farther by Nate Koszlewski. The Enforcers will take over in their own defensive end. Enforcers behind their own net. They curl with some speed, look to break out of the zone. They do. Send a long pass up, kicked by Vigliotti into the neutral zone, breaking up that home run pass. Puck sent right back into the defensive end here for the Enforcers. Steinfink now at the near point. Steinfink works that puck farther. And the Raiders keep the offensive zone at least momentarily. It's Tanoff now pushing that puck farther. Tries to find Finkelstein at the far half wall. Instead, the Enforcers come away with it. They chop it out of the zone. 3:04 as the clock continues to tick, and Steinfink curls back into his own end to pick up the puck. Steinfink on the puck. He works that up to Vigliotti. Vigliotti tries to chip it farther. The Enforcers pour in, though, and keep the zone without possession. Steinfink again chips it up to Vigliotti, who is able to chop it out of the zone this time. The Enforcers will have to recycle in the neutral zone and then their offensive end. Slower pass, nearly intercepted there by Koszlewski. Finkelstein kicks it farther into the offensive end, but we'll get a stoppage in play at 2:40 left to go here for an offside on the Raiders. And we've got straight ones across the board right now. It's Raiders 1, Enforcers 1 in the first period. Now some new skaters out there for the Raiders. It's Samosi, Bizarro, Berliner. Berliner wins that puck back to Aiden. Aiden looks at Gossler to go to point. Instead, he chips that farther on a diagonal pass up into the neutral zone, and the Enforcers take over. They try and dangle Gossler. Instead, Aiden comes away with the puck, and he again chips that out of the zone. Puck comes into the neutral zone. Bizarro works harder to get it there, and he sends it over to Berliner, who finds Samosi. Samosi sends that into the offensive end. Samosi goes to collect the puck at the end boards. The Enforcers chip it up to the half wall. Gossler waits at the point. A screen shot hits the side of the cage. Nearly went in there, and the Enforcers are able to fire that out of the zone. Enforcers through the neutral zone now. It's a one-on-one as Samosi tracks back. Soft shot comes in on Bricker after the stick of Gossler gets in the way of the shooter. Samosi reverses that over. Enforcers take over in the near corner. Still in the near corner, now up to the near point. And the Enforcers chip that in farther, but not past Berliner, who finds Samosi in the neutral zone. Samosi looks for Bizarro. He finds Bizarro in the offensive end. Puck hops over his stick, and he'll have to recover at the end boards. He takes his man out of the play, tries to chip that puck over to Berliner. Berliner waiting for it at the near half wall, and he's cycling with Bizarro. Bizarro sends that up to Hyder at the near point. Hyder has to send that farther in. Puck does come into the slot. Berliner tries a quick backhander, and then hits a leg pad in front. Now Hyder with a shot, looking for a deflection in the slot. Sticked aside there by the Enforcers goaltender, and Bizarro finds Samosi in the slot. Samosi with a high shot, hits a man in front, doesn't reach the cage. Berliner was there for the rebound. Hyder's able to keep the zone momentarily, but now the Enforcers can backhand that out. Raiders need to clear the zone here. They do. Tanoff waits momentarily and then sends that puck in deep. Puck at the end boards. Enforcers take over. Just 1 minute left to play here in the first. Puck finds Bizarro's stick in the offensive end, but that hard clearance ended up hopping over his stick into the neutral zone. Enforcers will now recover as the Raiders dump it right back in. Enforcers try and send that puck up and out of the zone. Hyder there to cut it out at the blue line. Enforcers take over possession again. Can't kick that one aside that time. Icing will be waived as it must have hit his skate here, and Tanoff will have to collect in his own end. He does the same and chops that right out. Enforcers waiting for it as they were making a deep pairing change. Now Fauci has the puck. He finds Colombo, who returns the favor. Fauci on the forehand sends a long shot in. Nearly handcuffed the goaltender there, but he did make the save. Just 20 seconds left to go here in the first period as the Enforcers work to get the puck out of their zone. Enforcers right now chip it into the neutral zone. Looked like it might have hit the referee's leg. No whistle coming, and Steinfink bats that puck right back in. 10 seconds left to go here in the first period. Fauci goes to collect. He looks for a man in the slot. Tries to find Colombo there. Instead, the puck just gets stuck. And a bad angle shot there. Hits the goalie's stick, but no harm, no foul. And that will do it for the first period. After one, it's Raiders 1, Enforcers 1. Right here on Midnight Sports. Stick around for Period 2's Puck Drop coming up next. Well, folks, period 2 coming up, but first, got to introduce a very special guest joining me for some color commentary on this game. It's RB. You know him as the man in the truck, does the graphics, makes this operation work. I just show up and talk. That's why you mute me. But RB's here, and he's ready to visit. RB, how you doing today?
I am well, Colin. How you doing today? Good to be here.
Yeah, you know what? It's been a great game so far. It's been a really great game so far, and you haven't really missed a thing. It's reset now because, 1-1 after one. So let's see if the Raiders are ready to roll here coming out of the huddle.
It's good action and both goalies coming in big today, too, so far this first period, Colin.
You're not kidding. It's been a lot of crease action so far. If you like some offense, the scoreboard wouldn't tell you that this is an offensive game, but it is. And now we're into the period of the long change. It looks like Coach Coffey's going to throw Berliner, Meyerowicz, Gossler, Steinfink, and Petrosinelli out there as his 5 skaters. And our referee checks both goalies and the scorekeeper, and we've got puck drop for period 2 right now. Raiders try and win that puck forward. It sits there with Berliner and now chipped all the way into the offensive end for the Raiders. Icing waved as it must have hit an enforcer's stick, and the enforcers go to recover in the near corner. Berliner takes over the puck. He's at the near dot, works that up to Steinfink. Steinfink in the high slot. Whiffs on the first wrist shot attempt and smartly dumps that puck in. Ice is still a little bit wet down there, which sounds funny, but it does make the puck stickier than you would imagine. And so it's easier to miss on those wrist shots. Now Gossler takes over, tries to dump that puck into the offensive end. He does, but the enforcers just chip it right back out. Gossler again dumps that puck in, not making any friends on his own bench as he nearly decapitated a man there. But nobody hurt, and we continue on with play here. Some heavy hitting at the end boards. Petro picks it up behind the enforcer's net. Just a minute gone now here in the second period. Puck sits at the half wall. Finkelstein works it in deeper. Berliner tries to work that puck farther. The enforcers come away with it. Now Petrosinelli looks to take his man out of the play. Big shoulder of Petrosinelli separates his man from the puck, but the enforcers are able to chip that past the Raiders, and they're going to have to hurry. Partial break developing here as Steinfink goes to cover. They're in on Bricker. Bricker with a huge leg save there as he stayed with the shooter the entire way to keep this a tie game.
Bricker just going end-to-end there on those posts. Incredible. So fast. And he was able to make that big save there on a breakaway, Colin.
Well, now the Raiders will get a breather with an offside call here at 13:28 left to go in the second period. Still a tie game, largely based on the big right leg of Jason Bricker in the Raiders' goal. Center ice faceoff. It's Finkelstein looking to win that back to Hyder. Hyder takes over right in front of the enforcer's bench. He chips that a little bit farther, but the enforcers come into the offensive zone. Tanoff will have to turn and recover the puck. He reverses it over to Nate Koshlewski. Koshlewski picks it up on the forehand. He finds Finkelstein to leave the zone. Finkelstein looks for Vigliotti. He's got him streaking down the right. It's a 2-on-1 developing here for the Raiders. That shot, there's a rebound just sitting in the crease momentarily, and now Vigliotti finds a teammate in the low slot, and then he takes over the rebound himself. Can't quite corral it to get that shot off, and Tanoff pinches in to keep the zone. Puck now comes to Koshlewski. Koshlewski tries to reverse over. Instead, it's cut out by the enforcers, and they'll look to chip it out of the zone. They make it only so far as Tanoff at the near dot, the near point, but the enforcers get a second bite at the apple, and they send it all the way down for an icing. So at 12:42, the Raiders will get an offensive zone draw.
That was a real close chance there from Liotti. Wasn't quite able to get his stick on there for a shot.
It looked like the ice monster might have gotten that puck from Vigliotti.
Yeah.
And you're right. Wasn't quite able to pull the trigger like he wanted to. Ensuing face-off is Berliner, backhanding it to Ferraro. And now the puck, that was Aiden. The puck comes into the crease. It sits there. It's still loose. Raiders looking for the follow-up. Instead, the enforcers come away with it. They're through the neutral zone now. Heavy hit from Gossler separates his man from the puck, and Samosi goes to pick it up. Now Gossler chips that puck farther, up to the far point, and that is just dumped in by the enforcers. They again try and pick that puck up to the enforcers, and they're harassed there by the Raiders in the near corner. Aiden takes over that puck, sends it up to the blue line. The enforcers just chip that in again. Enforcers look to recover in the near corner now. Gossler fires in to send that puck to the half wall. Comes up to Samosi, but off his stick after a quick enforcer stick, and sits in the slot. Enforcers now at the far dot. They're looking for a redirect. It goes wide of the cage. The Enforcers will have to take over again in the near corner. Push it up to the near point to the Enforcers. High shot comes in, hits Berliner's glove at the near dot. Berliner's able to knock that down to himself. He finds Bizarro streaking up the left wing. It's Bizarro now looking for that wrist shot. It goes just wide of the cage. Samosi picks up the rebound at the near side. Samosi now looking for a teammate in the slot. He's got Berliner there. He works it to him. Chipped on goal. Berliner taken out of the play. Saved nicely by the Enforcers. Puck now comes across the goal mouth. Bizarro looks to collect. He leaves it for Berliner. Puck sits in the near corner until the Enforcers try to take it over at the near half wall. Instead, cycled deeper by Bizarro, throws it again right across the crease. No teammates stick there to meet the puck and put it in the back of the goal. The Enforcers will just clear that after all that goal mouth activity, and will again get an icing at 11:05 left to go here in the second.
That Berliner-Bizarro combination has been quite the pair to watch this season. Colin almost coming up with something there, just getting bodies in front of the net, giving the goalie a hard time, crowding the slot.
Some real telepathy between those two. Must be all the roller hockey together. Finkelstein takes the ensuing draw, hits the side of the cage, and Fauci fires in to collect the puck in the near corner. He works that back down to Fauci, who finds Kalemba, but the puck hops off his stick into the neutral zone, and now the Enforcers will come the other way. They dump that into the offensive end. Finkelstein on the puck. Finkelstein still on the puck behind his own cage. Uses the boards to chip that up to the far point. Puck comes to the far point, slapped in there by the Enforcers. Quick stick by Steinfink. Keeps that puck from reaching the cage. Now Steinfink works that puck around to Tanoff. Tanoff on the puck, looking for Fauci up the ice. Diagonal pass doesn't connect, and that's going to roll all the way past the end line. And I must have jinxed us in the first period there when we had about 10 running minutes, because we've had quite a few stoppages in play here in the second period. But it does give us time to pause for station identification.
You're watching Midnight Sports. All the hockey, none of the smell. Midnight Sports.
Well, it's going to be a defensive zone draw here for the Raiders to Bricker's right. It'll be Berliner looking to win this on the backhand. He's got Hyder behind him. Berliner takes 2 swipes at it. The Enforcers win that forward and then try and work the puck on a reverse cycle to the near half wall. Raiders are all over him. It's Hyder and Berliner in there. They work that puck up to Petrosinelli. Petrosinelli now on the break. He's through the neutral zone into the offensive zone. That wrist shot of Petrosinelli could pay dividends. Instead, that backhander goes just wide of the cage. Nice save. Petrosinelli now on the wrist shot. 10:05 left to go here in the second. That's gloved down by the Enforcers goalie, and we'll get a stoppage in play.
Petrosinelli just like the 7 train steaming towards the Enforcers net there. And again, the goalie coming up with not just 1, but 2 big saves after he gets his own rebound, circles in and takes that shot. Boy, I don't want to be in front of that guy when he's skating.
Berliner now on the ensuing draw. Looks to win this to Petrosinelli right behind him. He's on the backhand. Puck comes up to Gosser at the near point. Gosser dumps that puck in deeper. They keep the zone. Meyerowicz fires in behind the net. Tries to chip that up. Instead, the puck comes all the way past the blue line through the neutral zone, and Gosser will have to hurry to get to this puck first. He does. Sends that weak side just to buy his team some time to get back in the zone. Gosser again gets another bite at that. Puck hops over a stick, sits at the blue line, but the Enforcers keep the zone. Still Enforcers now in the zone. They're at the far half wall. The Enforcers fire a shot wide of the cage. But Bricker's there. Well, we're going to get a scrum here in front of the cage. We got a quick whistle. Puck looks to be in the net, but it looks like the whistle may have come, and the scrum afterward put it in the net. Yes, the linesman setting up for the far dot faceoff. RB, what'd you see on that?
I don't even think Bricker knew what it was for a moment, but it was under him and whistle blew. A little scruffle, but you love to see it. It's hockey.
Absolutely. Sometimes that puck gets caught in the equipment too, and it looks like the referee has explained to the Enforcers bench just what happened there, and we'll get a Finkelstein face-off to Bricker's left. Finkelstein wins that forward, comes up to the far point, and now the Enforcers find it at the near dot. Can't turn and fire yet as that puck hopped over a stick. The Enforcers just go rink wide, but they keep the offensive end. Now Koslevsky all over his man. Enforcers try on a deflection play. Bricker shuts that down once. Now the wraparound doesn't connect. The Enforcers try the other side. Bricker's still there on the wraparound, and we'll get a stoppage in play after that puck is saved by Jason Bricker. 9:08 left to go here in the second. Still a tie hockey game.
And that enforcer's line putting some pressure on Bricker there, but he's still coming up down low, making the saves. Big.
Looks like it'll be Koslewski, Bigliotti, and Finkelstein out as the forwards. Bigliotti takes over that faceoff. He finds Koslewski weak side. He works the way through the neutral zone into the offensive zone, but loses possession there, and the enforcers try and turn it the other way. They hit the referee on that clearance attempt, and the Raiders will dump that right back in. Bigliotti weak side on the forecheck, and Koslewski in strong side. Koslewski, nearly takes the puck off his man. That puck's cleared off a referee and a linesman, and the enforcers are able to break out. Now the Raiders turn the other way in the neutral zone. Puck sits in the neutral zone momentarily. Koslewski takes over on the forehand. He locates the puck and dumps that in all the way to the near corner. Puck's still in the near corner there. Enforcers try and take over. They're able to chip that on a diagonal pass out of the zone, and now they pour through the neutral zone. It's a mini break for the enforcers, gummed up by Steinfink, long enough to take the sting out of that shot, and Bricker's able to shuffle that off to his left, and now the Raiders have a break the other way. Koslewski, 2-on-1. He's got Bigliotti with him. Puck just a little bit behind him on there, but Bigliotti still throws it into the crease. Koslewski working hard to get that puck on net. It's a good play by the enforcers there, as they were able to gum up the Koslewski pass on that 2-on-1 such that it had to be behind Bigliotti. And now we'll get a stoppage in play with 7:50 left to go in the second period. The Raiders are happy for that offside.
But Yoli going off the ice a little upset. He knew he got that pass. He wanted to make the most of it on a one-timer. It was just a little bit out of his reach. But hey, if you don't succeed, try again.
Well, Berliner's going to try and do just that here at the dot outside the defensive blue line for the Raiders. He's got Samosi with him, and Bizarro. Seems to be some conversation near the bench as the enforcers look to get a fifth skater onto the ice. Aiden and Gossler out there as a defensive pair. Samosi works that puck up through the neutral zone. Bizarro takes over in the offensive end, looks for Berliner. Now he's on the forehand. He goes high over the goalie and over the cage, and Gossler picks up puck that whips all the way around. Now Samosi in the slot. Samosi finds Bizarro for the one-timer. That's a Raiders goal at 7:32 in the second period. The Raiders score. It's Samosi to Bizarro.
Another beautiful one-timer here from the Skyliners. Bizarro stayed in the backside of the net there, just waiting for it. He was wide open. Samosi picks his heads up, sees him, passes it right to him, and Bizarro finishes the job there. Lovely goal. Lovely goal. Love to see a team goal there.
Tic-tac-toe there for the Raiders. Ensuing faceoff. Berliner wins that forward through the neutral zone. He's got Bizarro. He finds Bizarro again. Bizarro's in, and that's blockered down there by the enforcer's goalie, keeping this a one-goal game. A nice save on Bizarro with the blocker, and Tanoff will have to recover now in his own end. He's being harassed there, and he comes weak side to send that up to Berliner, leaves it for Samosi. Samosi now gains the offensive end. He's in the near corner looking for a teammate in the slot. He finds Berliner coming late, and another nice save there by the enforcers as we tick just under 7 minutes left to go here in the second period. Enforcers gain the offensive zone. Samosi on his man. He beats his man to the puck. Takes a heavy hit to reverse that over to Steinfink, but he does. And Steinfink's going to be able to chop that out of the zone. Comes to Bizarro. Tries to send that farther. Hits a shin pad. Samosi there to recover in the mid-slot. Steinfink takes over. Steinfink on the backhand. Through the neutral zone. Taken out of the play. And we get no penalty on that. Comes to Bizarro in the offensive end. Bizarro has the Ice Monster take that puck off his stick. And the enforcers will look to break out of the zone. They do. They're across the blue line. Now it's a 2-on-2 developing. It's Fauci and Tanoff back. Long shot comes in. Rebound in front. Bricker makes one save, then two. Enforcers still have the puck in the offensive end. Slapped out now by Bizarro into the neutral zone. Enforcers try and send that back in just a little too quick, and we'll get an offside with 6:17 left to go in the second.
Skyliners almost got in a little trouble there when Steinfink bumped into the ref. Kind of took him out of the play to defend, but you got Fauci, such a two-way player for this team. Comes back, takes his back, and helps defend and clears his own, and we're going to get a defensive...
defensive zone draw here for the enforcers, RB. They must have adjudged that to be an intentional offside by the enforcers, and a quick shot comes in, and now it's Kalemba, and he puts it in. Oh my, what a big play there for the Raiders to get that offensive zone draw, because that's a Raiders goal off the stick of Jackson Kalemba.
And juicy rebound comes on the far side of the goaltender, and he's wide open, able to bury that puck, and gives the Skyliner a big lead here.
Well, you love to see it for Jackson, who was out injured in the last game after the morning game yesterday. Took a heavy hit, had to sit one out, and he is right back to his scoring ways. Ensuing faceoff dumped in there by Fauci in the offensive end. Kalemba on the forecheck looks to take the puck off his man. It's at the far half wall, and Finkelstein all over his man too on the back check, but the enforcer's strong enough to get that out of the zone. They're in the neutral zone. Quick stick there by Gossler. Takes the puck off his man. It rolls to Kalemba. Fauci now takes the puck into the offensive end. The enforcers turn it right back out of the zone. Puck now sits in the neutral zone until Gossler picks it up on the forehand. Watch out, he's got that quick wrist shot. He has to reverse though as the puck comes off his stick. And now a mini break developing, a full break in fact. Enforcers take a slap shot in. Bricker there shuts that down with the leg pads. As the puck was rolling on the enforcer's man, all he could do is try and bat that toward goal. 5:23 left to go here in the second as Kalemba breaks back the other way. He's taken out of the play. Raiders had possession there momentarily. They send it cross ice over to the enforcers. That pass is cut out momentarily by Finkelstein. And the enforcers are able to break back into the neutral zone and the offensive zone. Gummed up there by Gossler. Takes his man out of the play. Enforcers still have the puck. Sits in front of Bricker. Bricker with a wonderful reaction save on the left leg pad. And the ensuing shot goes over the cage. Now at the near point are the enforcers. They send a long shot in. It's deflected there and up and into the glove of Jason Bricker. 4:51 left to go here in the second period.
Cheeky little save there by Bricker with his leg, keeping the Raiders in here.
Well, and a lot of people will look at that save and say, well, the puck was low to the ice, and he did well with the leg pad. But not only did he make the save, he was able to kick that far enough out that there was no rebound wanting there for the enforcers to just tuck right in. So it was a doubly good save. Now Aiden with the puck in the defensive zone. He flicks that puck up and over, doesn't hit the glass, but because it went into the bench area for the enforcers, no delay of game penalty coming. We should still have 5-on-5 hockey for this defensive zone draw to Bricker's left. Berliner on the ensuing faceoff wins that over to Tanoff. Tanoff on the backhand tries to find Meyerowicz. Instead finds Petrosinelli, but not out of the zone just yet. A lot of chopping of the puck there at the blue line, but the Raiders do eventually find the neutral zone. Raiders now into the offensive end. Berliner recovers the puck, sends it to Meyerowicz, sends a bad angle shot in, but now Petrosinelli all the way around to the near side tries to find Aiden. Instead, the puck comes off his stick and the enforcers come the other way. Tanoff cuts out that threat momentarily in the neutral zone. The enforcers try and break in, but they look to be offside. Now there's a little bit of a hit just after the whistle there, RB, but I think they're going to call it coincidental, and there's not going to be a penalty on the play.
Yeah, it was right before the blue line. I think that was Aiden over there, but the ref lets it go.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Close enough to the whistle, it seemed. And Finkelstein tries to win that face-off forward. Instead, the puck comes in the defensive end, but Gossler has it behind his own net. He turns and surveys his options. He passes it to himself off the back of the cage, and then he works it up to the near half wall. Puck hops off a stick there, and the enforcers do keep the zone. Enforcers now with some possession at the near half wall. Vigliotti tries to receive the puck there. He does. He chops it farther into the neutral zone. Enforcers take over at the red line, and they just dump it in. But not before they had cleared the zone, and with 3:51 left to go in the second, we'll get another offside call here, and a face-off coming just outside the defensive blue line for the Raiders.
The enforcers are spending some time in this Raiders zone.
And some good push here in the period of the long change by the enforcers. They seem to be tilting the ice a bit here in the second period. Finkelstein on the ensuing draw wins that forward to Vigliotti. Vigliotti tries to fire it farther. It finds a skate though, and Gossler picks up and dumps that puck in. Icing waved. Vigliotti goes to pick it up in the near corner. Vigliotti finds an enforcer's stick though in the high slot. The enforcers will break the other way. They're across the blue line now are the enforcers. A nice check there by Gossler. Leaves the puck for Steinfink, who works it up to Finkelstein, and then Koslewski. Finkelstein again takes over in the neutral zone. They cross the blue line, does Finkelstein. Finkelstein up and over the enforcer's goalie's shoulder, and that's another Raiders goal.
A goal by Finkelstein there, just sprints into the zone, gets into the slot, able to put it right over the goalie's shoulder. For the
Just a little flick of the wrist there by Finkelstein finds pay dirt.
That's all you need sometimes, Colin.
RB, I love it. And you're right. Just a little flick of the wrist. Berliner now forward to Bizarro. Bizarro controls the puck at the blue line, leaves it for Berliner. Berliner breaks into the zone, tries to return the favor to Bizarro. He does. Bizarro with a screen shot, saved nicely there by the Enforcers goaltender. Now the Enforcers have possession. They go weak side on a diagonal pass, comes off a stick, and Hyder goes into his own end to recover. Hyder on the puck now, behind his own net. Circles around one man, comes into the slot, and leaves it for Samosi. Samosi tries to work that over to Berliner, hits a stick, and now Hyder recovers the puck in the neutral zone. He hits a skate there, and the Enforcers look to come the other way. Instead, the Raiders get in front of that. Samosi has the puck now at center ice. He gets on the forehand, works that over to Hyder. Hyder to Berliner. Berliner still, he's got Bizarro. He finds Samosi in the slot. Puck rolls up his stick, and Bizarro goes to recover at the far half wall. It's Bizarro now, flinging that puck farther with just 150 seconds left to go here in the second period. Puck comes over to the Enforcers, but Samosi's there to tuck that farther over to Bizarro. Bizarro looking for Berliner. Oh, nearly connects on the one-timer for Berliner. Instead, the Enforcers live to fight another day, at least for a little bit here. Bizarro turns to fire. Puck hits a shin, just barely crosses the blue line as Hyder tries to keep the zone, and with 2:08, we'll get an offside on the Raiders.
Another gorgeous one-timer attempt there. Would have loved to see that going as well, but you can see the chemistry, you can see them connecting, and this is how this line scores goals.
You called that earlier in the game. Those two do have good partnership when it comes to assists and goals. Now the Raiders win that face-off and dump the puck into the offensive end. 2 flat minutes left to go here in the second period. Fauci in on the forecheck. The Enforcers are able to pass that up and out of the zone, at least to the red line. Now the puck comes to Gossler at his own blue line. Gossler on the forehand, comes weak side, looking for Fauci. Cut out there by the Enforcers. Enforcers in the neutral zone, but only so far as Finkelstein. Kalemba turns to collect the puck from him. Puck sits there at the blue line. Fauci chips it farther for Kalemba. Kalemba now on the puck, works it over to Finkelstein. Delayed penalty coming here as Bricker leaves the ice. The Enforcers need to touch up. They do with 1:29 left to go. There was a hit right in front of us here at the near side of the blue line, and the Enforcers look to be going to the box here for 2 minutes. You've got to suspect it'll be a roughing call.
I'm talking about taking one for the team there. Raiders get the power play. Maybe can extend this lead right here at the end of the second period, Colin.
Well, the Raiders fans would love to see it. They've got a healthy 3-goal lead right now. If they want to put a ribbon on this period, scoring on this power play would do it for them. Now it'll be Berliner now at the far dot. Berliner wins that puck forward. Enforcers take over in the slot. They send it over to the far half wall and then dump it all the way down the ice, and we should get an icing call here. We do, with 1:16 left to go in the second period. 1:48 left to go on the power play for the Raiders. Well, looks like Berliner's going to stay out there. Luke Marchuka's out there now too, with Gossler, Petrosinelli, and Meyerowicz. Berliner tries to win that back to his defensive pairing. Puck hops over his stick. Enforcers break out of the zone, only so far as Marchuka. Marchuka backhands that into the offensive end. Puck sits at the blue line. Enforcers try and work it farther, but they're unable to get it past all the bodies right in front of the Raiders bench. Now the Enforcers have a little time and space. They chip that into the neutral zone. Puck comes to Gossler, who goes point to point over to Marchuka. Marchuka out there is the fourth forward on this power play. Petrosinelli takes over in the neutral zone. He's on the forehand. He does have that quick wrist shot, and they're not giving him any purchase to unleash it. 46 seconds left to go in this period. Bodies upon bodies behind the net here as the players fall over each other, trying to get that loose puck. Puck now at the near half wall. Sits there, comes up to Gossler, who backhands that in deep. 32 seconds left to go in the period. 1:03 on the power play. Heavy hitting there by Berliner at the end wall. Puck comes, and it's screened on Gossler, so it hops over his stick and comes all the way down, nearly past the end line, but not quite, so we get no icing call. 17 seconds left to go here in the second period. It's Marchuka cycling over for Petrosinelli. Marchuka takes the puck back. He breaks out of his zone. One last play here for the Raiders as he gains the offensive end. Shot comes in, goes just wide of the cage as a stick-on-stick hit there keeps the puck from reaching the goal mouth, and that's how we'll end after 2. It's Raiders 4, Enforcers 1. Stick around. We've got 15 more minutes coming up for you right here from World Ice Arena, and it gives us some time to visit with some sponsors.
This evening's game on Midnight Sports is sponsored by your television's channel guide. Hockey fans, you finally come home after a long day. As you settle into your seat on the couch, you flip the TV on and press the guide button on your remote, and it hits you. What are all these channels? What even is the Cabinet Network or the Grass Growing Channel? Who would even watch the movie network of stories told by old uncles that don't make any sense? Well, thanks to your television's channel guide, you can watch them all. Sure, you may want to turn on the news or your favorite hockey team's game, but first, you'll need to scroll through 60 channels about home improvement projects no one can actually afford. Your television's channel guide, making the simple much harder for over a decade.
Well, 15 minutes put back on the board. Referee and linesman happy to let the teams take an extra moment here after 2 periods of hard skating. Get a little additional instruction from their coaches.
Even though the score line is 4-1, Colin, Enforcers are still in this game. They're still trying. They're still pushing. They're giving Bricker a hard time, forcing him to make good saves, but he's hanging in there, and I think one of the big reasons why we only see 1 goal for the Enforcers in this game, Colin.
Yeah, he's had a wonderful game. He is locked in. When that puck crosses the defensive blue line there for the Raiders, you can see Bricker just lasering in on the puck, ready to go post to post as necessary, and he has certainly stolen several goals here from the Enforcers. Well, still 32 seconds left to go on the power play for the Raiders. They'll have 5 skaters out there. It'll be Samosi, Berliner, Bizarro, Gosler, and Marchuka. Enforcers win that faceoff, chip it up to the offensive blue line for them, and then dump it into the zone, and Gosler will go to recover. Gosler on the puck. He whips that around over to Marchuka. 21 seconds as the clock on the power play continues to tick here for the Raiders. Marchuka waits behind his own net, lets the play develop. Puck comes over to Samosi nearly, but Marchuka takes it back and now finds Samosi in the neutral zone. He was waiting for that area to clear before getting the puck over to Samosi. Samosi on the forehand. Puck sits in the crease there. Pizarro nearly first to it, but the Enforcers are able to keep that out after the Samosi shot. Now Berliner with the soft shot in. He's able to round the goalie, and that's a Raiders goal.
Another goal for Berliner there, Colin. And this line doing amazing things. Just getting to, simple things, just getting puck to the front of the net. Little rebounds happen, they pop out. And if you're there crashing the net, you get those opportunities and you're able to stuff it home. Good
Raiders
goal.
making their own luck there. And it's 5-1. Raiders over the Enforcers as the Raiders break back into the offensive end. Now Kalemba fires in at the end wall. Kalemba looking for Marchuka. Tries that bad angle shot. Finds Fauci, who just misses the net on the forehand one-timer. Enforcers circling behind their own net. Taken over by Kalemba. Sends a shot in, and now Marchuka gets a stab at it. And still, the Raiders are firing in, and there's a Raiders goal. The Raiders score again. 13:54 left to go here in the 3rd period. But that's not the end of the action, as there's some pushing and shoving at the goal mouth. It looks like we may have some swift ice justice
Even a goalie.
both players' way. What'd you see there, RB?
No, again, it was almost like the goal that just happened. Just scrappy right in front of the net. Second chance, these second chance opportunities, and they're able to stuff it home. And even the goalie showed a little bit of frustration there towards the Raider players, but they're just piling it on now, Colin.
It looks like it'll be Kushlevsky going to the box. Unclear if any Enforcer is going to go. But you know what they say, they always call that second push rather than the first. And so for the first time tonight, the Raiders will be on the penalty kill. It's Kalemba, Marchuka, Gosler, and Tanoff out there. Kalemba breaks in, down a skater, sends that off the goalie's leg pad, finds his own rebound. He's working hard to kill this penalty in the offensive end, which the coaches must love. Kalemba still at the end boards. Now he's on the back end. He tries to go forehand. Puck sits just to the goalie's right. The Enforcers are able to chip that up and out of the zone, where Gosler will take over in the neutral zone and then his own defensive end. 1:37 left to go here on the penalty to Kushlevsky. Gosler works that up to Kalemba. Kalemba fires that out of the zone. The enforcers will have to track that down. We do have an arm raised here for icing, but it's not going to gain the end line as Marchuka gets there first and tries to chip that forward. Instead, he finds himself in the slot with a shot that's deflected just wide of the cage. Now Kalemba tries to pick up that puck. Instead, the enforcers chip that out, and Gossler takes over in the neutral zone. Now Gossler fires that right to the blue line, and Kalemba chips it farther. He takes a big hit there, but it's going to be a late hit, and we'll get a call at 13:01 on the enforcers. We'll be back to 4-on-4 hockey for 1 minute and 7 seconds.
That play started by Machuca, just taking the puck into the zone. Trying to negate that icing, hustling, working hard, goes to the slot, and even takes a shot, creating his own chances. You want to see that, Colin, and it paid off.
He sure did, RB. And it looks like a little confusion at the benches there. Make sure we're at 4-on-4 hockey. We now are. Finkelstein wins that face-off forward, and the enforcers are able to get that out of the zone. Now Aiden goes point to point with Hyder. Puck now rolls to the offensive blue line. Vigliotti in on his man, tries to take him out of the play. The enforcers are able to get that out of the zone now. Now it's a 1-on-1 entry into the offensive zone, cut out expertly by Aiden there. He looks for Vigliotti. Puck hops to the blue line and out of the zone. We should get a whistle for offside. We do. 42 seconds left to go to the Raiders penalty. 1:35 left to go on the enforcers penalty. We'll have 4-on-4 hockey for 42 more seconds. 12:36 left in the third period here. Ensuing face-off, won by the enforcers. On down to Aiden. Aiden now works the puck up to Vigliotti. Vigliotti gets in the neutral zone, looking for Finkelstein, just slightly behind him. So Vigliotti goes to collect the puck himself, and the enforcers come away with it, at least for a moment. Enforcers still have the puck. They dump it in on the backhand into the offensive end, and Hyder turns to recover behind his own net. Hyder now on the forehand. He banks that pass up to the blue line and out through the neutral zone. The enforcers go to recover the puck. Enforcers on the puck now on their own end. They send that weak side. Hyder's able to keep the zone, work the puck farther. Looking for support there. Tries a slot pass, cut out by the enforcers. The enforcers try and work that puck up and out of the zone. Instead, it finds Vigliotti's stick at the end wall. He tries a bad angle shot up and over the goalie's shoulder. This is the net. Now Gossler on that wrist shot. It's Vigliotti in front. Enforcers try and clear the zone. Finkelstein all over his man. The enforcers do eventually get that puck up and out of the zone to Steinfink. Steinfink goes point to Gossler. Gossler now at center ice. He's gained the blue line. Gossler skates all the way in. He's on the backhand, tries to dump it deeper. Finkelstein gums up his man, at least momentarily, and Steinfink now with the puck in the neutral zone, waits for the Raiders to clear the zone and then dumps it right back in. Puck at the end boards now. Enforcers go to pick it up on the forehand. They find a teammate at the half wall, and they're able to skate that out of the zone to Marchuka. Marchuka takes a heavy hit there, try and regain possession of the puck. And Gossler has it in front of his own bench, and now Meyerowicz turns to try and get the puck. Steinfink also turns. He's got the puck behind his own net, and he reverses over to Gossler. Marchuka will pick that up at the far corner. Marchuka on the forehand, surveys his options weak side. He now skates along his own blue line. He's able to chip that up to Meyerowicz. Meyerowicz now, the offensive blue line, tries to dump that in. He finds an enforcer's stick, but it was bouncing, and now it's Marchuka all alone. He tries to go 5-hole there, and he does. He scores with 10:43 left to go. That's a Marchuka Raiders goal.
Raiders laying it on now, just crashing that net, making it hard. Forces goalie been doing well all game, but it's down the pile on now, Colin.
Well, you'd never know that this game was very tight to start. The way the Raiders are piling it on here late in the second and early in the third. They win that ensuing faceoff, and Marchuka looks to pick up the puck at the blue line and dump it farther. Schlefsky now out there with Meyerowicz. He finds him. Meyerowicz tries to go over the goalie's shoulder. Instead, goes just high on the cage, and the enforcers pick up the puck, and they're able to get it out of their zone. Tanoff now on the puck, works it up to Marchuka. Marchuka trying to slide that over to Meyerowicz, and Petrosinelli in for support. Petrosinelli just wide of the cage there as he was in the low slot. Puck sits at the end roll until it's picked up by the enforcers, and now a shot comes in from the near half wall, saved nicely by the enforcers goaltender to the end roll. Now Petrosinelli goes up and over the goalie's shoulder, and that is another Raiders goal. Jack Petrosinelli at 10:03 left to go here in the third period.
When it rains, it pours, Colin. Petrosinelli right in front of the net, just lifts it up over the goaltender. Beautiful goal. Hard to block those.
Now it'll be Berliner, Samosi, and Bizarro out there for the ensuing faceoff as forwards. They've got Hyder and Aiden behind them. Enforcers look to recover in their own zone. They're on the backhand, chipped farther by Samosi, who now looks to return to Berliner. Samosi harassed by his man behind the net. He's on the backhand and finds Pizarro at the far corner. Pizarro returns to Samosi, who finds Berliner. 1-2-3 play, but the puck is cut out there by a defenseman's stick on the Enforcers right at the goal mouth. Enforcers look to get that puck out of their zone. They do. Get it all the way past center ice, and Hyder turns to recover the puck in his own zone. He finds it there on the forehand, and puck now comes across center ice, and Pizarro picks it up on the backhand. Rolls off his stick momentarily until Samosi recovers it and keeps his own. Samosi on the forehand looks to saucer that pass across the goal mouth. Finds Berliner right in front. A little too tight to the goaltender, though. Couldn't get the shot elevated, and the Enforcers come back the other way in a 3-on-2. Enforcers gain the offensive end. The Enforcers in the high slot. Blocker to side there by Bricker with 9:10 left to go in this game. Samosi tries to work it farther. Aiden comes away with it in his own end. He circles his own cage and now looks up and sees Pizarro at the blue line. Aiden able to skate that up, though, through the neutral zone and then dump that puck in deep. The Raiders will get a change out of this as Aiden fires forward on the forecheck. Aiden rounds the goal. Bad angle shot. Nearly goes in, but doesn't connect after hitting the goalie's skates. And Marchuka recovers it in the neutral zone. Raiders have cleared the zone. Kalemba fires back in. Kalemba on the backhand looks for Fauci or Marchuka, but it's cut out by an Enforcer stick. And now the Enforcers come the other way. They're in the offensive end. They're in the high slot, are the Enforcers. They try and work that puck deep. They do to the near corner. Return pass into the slot. Comes up on Bricker's shoulder. Tries to climb his sweater, but doesn't quite make it. He shuts it down with 8:28 left to go in the third period.
That was really close. Bricker had to stay concentrated there. It almost looks like the puck really was climbing over his shoulder, Colin, trying to kind of sneak in, maybe get the Raiders a lucky second goal, but he was able to stay focused and covers it up.
Yeah, it just ran out of steam there at the last second. Ensuing face-off, slat shot comes in just to Bricker's left, and the Enforcers unable to keep the zone there. They're at the blue line with some possession. Try and backhand it in the offensive end, but it's cut out by Steinfink, and Steinfink gains center ice, and now the blue line. He's rubbed out of the play. Marchuka tries to keep the zone. He does. He finds Kalemba. Kalemba now on the puck at the far dot. He finds Marchuka in the slot. Marchuka turns, tries a soft shot in, going 5-hole there. And here we go again, right in front of the goal mouth. We get some pushing and shoving after some late action in front of the Enforcers goaltender. Now a quick skate in by the two linesmen and the referee there seems to have prevented anything from happening.
Scores like this, Colin, sometimes tempers flare a little bit. And sometimes you got to express yourself, especially when you're the goalie.
That's right. We'll see if we can't get the DJ to play Express Yourself here in a little bit. Puck now rolls into the crease. It's bouncing there, but covered by the Enforcers goaltender. And as you'd expect, after the Enforcers goaltender has expressed himself, the Raiders return the favor right in his face. So it'll be Berliner on the ensuing faceoff to the Enforcers goalie's right. Berliner puck sits there and then cycles around to the near corner and back up to the near half wall. Enforcers will take over there. They break out of their zone. Through the neutral zone do the Enforcers go. Enforcers now in a 2-on-1. They're in on Bricker. They go over the shoulder there, do the Enforcers, with 7:34 left to go. That's an Enforcers goal. Raiders 8, Enforcers 2.
It seemed like Steinfink got beat in the neutral zone. They were able to, Enforcers were able to get a 2-on-1, but there was no pass. He just took, Enforcers forward just took a great shot and beat Bricker. Hate to see it, but good shot in the Enforcers.
Well, as they say, that's hockey. Marchuka now works the puck forward on the ensuing faceoff into the offensive end. It'll be Meyerowicz at the far half wall. Meyerowicz is able to stop that clearance. He takes a heavy hit to do so. And the puck sits there and then hits Petrosinelli's skate and comes all the way across the zone and out now. Koslewski recovers at center ice. He tries to work that puck farther. Enforcers there in the way. They try and take over at the center ice dot. They do. The Enforcers now trying to work the puck farther. Petrosinelli separates his man from the puck, and it's in the defensive zone. The Enforcers momentarily had possession there to try and get a shot off, hitting a lot of bodies in front. Raiders do break out of their zone. They're through the neutral zone, are the Raiders. They're on the forehand. Marchuka circles in. Ooh, the return pass from Koslewski doesn't connect with Marchuka, and now the Enforcers have a chance to get this out of their zone. They're across center ice, are the Enforcers. Heavy hit there, right in front of the Raiders bench, and that's going to draw a call. Looks Looks like it'll be Tanoff going to the box here for roughing. He may have just caught the enforcer skater at the wrong time. Well, 6:36 left to go here in the third period. RB, you're not only a talented hockey color commentator, but you do a few other things. Tell us about them.
Well, I run a little podcast. Well, I mean, it's not hockey, it is soccer, and I know how most people feel about soccer, especially if you're a hockey fan, but I run a little show called a Napoli Rant. We follow SSC Napoli from the Serie A Italian League. We're on every Monday by 8:30, me and Rafa Rispo, and we do a little show. So if you like hockey, but you also like soccer, especially Italian soccer, come check us out on YouTube. It's called the Napoli Rant with Raf and Raf. Love to see you there.
Well, it's a pretty good time to be a Napoli fan these days.
Definitely is.
Not every team wins its first 5 games in the Champions League group stage, but Napoli is the only team that can say that this year, so good on them.
Oh, we're breaking records out there.
Now ensuing faceoff is Samosi working that into the slot. He picks up his own pass, tries a screen shot, hits a defenseman in front. That puck's deflected wide. Bouncing puck looks to come in here on Bricker as the Raiders try and kill this penalty off. Bricker's able to feather that pass up to Samosi at the blue line and out of the zone. The enforcers will have to take over again the neutral zone. Samosi working hard to get that puck right back out of the zone. He's on the backhand, but he's able to slide that past the blue line. The enforcers again have to clear the zone. Gummed up one more time there by Aiden. Samosi works that puck farther. He skates fast after it. Enforcers beat him to it, and that 1-on-2. Enforcers look to work that puck into the offensive end. Instead, it finds Hyder in the neutral zone and then sits at the offensive blue line for the Raiders. Now sticks collide, and the puck is chipped up and out of play with 5:38 left to go here in the third period. Still a minute and 2 seconds on that roughing minor to the Raiders. They'll have a face-off just in the enforcer's zone.
Raiders down a man, still not afraid to take the puck and try to get another goal or create some more opportunities. So it's good to see.
It's Fauci at the dot. That puck's one back to the far corner, and the enforcer's going to be able to get that out of the zone as the Raiders make sure that they're not going to give any 2-on-1 breaks here on the penalty kill. Raiders try and work that up and out of the zone. Instead, it finds the far corner, and now the slot pass comes in. Gossler strong on the puck momentarily there, but a second enforcers player comes in and scores at 5:19 left to go in the third period. That's enforcers 3, Raiders 8. Well, RB, no quit in the enforcers here. Down 6 goals, they're still pouring men forward, and now it's 5.
Love to see the resiliency.
Enforcers win the ensuing faceoff. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey here as Gossler feathers that up to Kalemba. Kalemba fires through the neutral zone, tries to get to that puck. Enforcers do come away with it and try and dump that in. Berliner now cuts out the threat at the blue line. Puck kicked over to Kalemba. Kalemba gains the offensive zone. He's in on the forehand, but he's driven wide by his player. He tries to set up a one-timer for Fauci. Nearly connects. The enforcers come away with it. They're now through the neutral zone, are the enforcers. They gain the offensive end. They're on the backhand. A partial 2-on-1. They circle the net entirely. Players down in front of the goal mouth there on Bricker. Enforcers try to get on the forehand. Cut out very well by Gossler all the way up to the blue line. Fauci kicks it out of the zone. He looks for Kalemba. Finds Kalemba. Puck handcuffs him momentarily, and the enforcers are able to hip check that puck out of the zone and into the offensive zone. It's a 3-on-2 developing. Wrist shot comes in, hits Koshlewski, and now it rolls wide of the cage. Enforcers have the puck with 4:21 as the clock runs. Heavy hitting behind the cage. Enforcers still with possession. Shot comes in. Berliner kicks that aside. It goes to the far corner. Gossler goes to collect. He reverses, uses the boards around, and finds Kalemba on a Zamboni door Cara. Puck hops off his stick into the neutral zone, and the enforcers pour right back into the offensive end. They're at the near half wall. They send a shot wide of the crease. Now into the far corner and the far half wall. Enforcers try and flick that puck farther. Fauci all over his man, and he cuts out any threat there. Aiden takes a hit, but gets that puck past the blue line. And the puck comes in the offensive zone too quickly with 3:47 left to go. We have an offside call on the enforcers.
Enforcers just keeping the pressure. The Raiders have to be careful here. They can't get sloppy in their zone. I know they're up by 5 goals. They have a comfortable lead with a few minutes left, but you don't want to give anything up to the other team. The Raiders almost got caught with too many men on the ice, too. Got to tighten up a little bit there, but...
Well, ensuing faceoff, Bigliotti takes over control of the puck. He gains the offensive blue line. He sends a wrist shot high on the goalie, blocker down, and Marchuka sends the rebound in farther to keep the puck in the offensive end. Puck hops over Hyder's stick, and will go all the way down to the Raiders' defensive zone. Aiden will take over there. Aiden with the puck. He reverses over to Finkelstein. Finkelstein cuts off his man, and now the puck comes to Marchuka. Marchuka on the puck. He's at center ice. He's got Vigliotti with him. Vigliotti waits at the blue line. He breaks into the offensive end. Vigliotti found in the slot. Taken out of the play there. And no shot coming as the Enforcers take over possession. Enforcers still in their own zone. Try and work that up past Finkelstein. They can't get it by him, and Finkelstein dumps that puck in farther. 3 minutes even left to go here in this game. Marchuka circles the Enforcers' net. He's on the back end. Puck kicked a little bit farther there. The Enforcers come away with it at the far half wall. Still Enforcers' puck. They work it up to the blue line, but not out of the zone yet. Enforcers have possession now. They chip it farther off the linesman at center ice, and it comes to Aiden. Aiden sends a diagonal pass right back into the offensive zone. The Enforcers will take over behind their own cage. Marchuka weak side to cut out any threat. Nice forecheck there by Finkelstein. Takes the puck and finds Marchuka, who tries to go up and over the goalie's shoulder and just misses by an inch wide. Aiden tries to keep the zone. The Raiders keep the zone momentarily, but now the puck kicked forward across the blue line, and Marchuka will recycle in the neutral zone. And he's got Hyder and Aiden behind him. Marchuka on the puck, enters his own zone with the puck. Curls around to build up some speed. He's in the slot of his own zone, now through the neutral zone. He's beaten 3 men, he's got 2 left. He's on the forehand, tries to dangle behind the back. The last defenseman, but he can't get by him, and the Enforcers take the puck off his stick momentarily. Now the puck hops into the crease, but it's saved there by the Enforcers goalie with 1:55 left to play in the third period.
I think that was Berliner in front, Colin, right? Almost looking for his hat trick there, I think.
Almost tucked it in, but, you know, RB, that's exactly what you said you wanted to see out there. A little Raiders push, keep the puck out of their own end. Well, ensuing faceoff comes Petrosinelli. Wrist shot, lasered high and wide of the cage. Enforcers look to pick it up at the blue line. They chop it farther out of the zone, but the Raiders have cleared the zone, and now it's Meyerowicz pouring right back in the offensive end. He's in the high slot on the forehand. He dangles one man. Now he comes in close and low, almost too close. Had to go high over the goalie's shoulder, missed the cage. Meyerowicz gets it back, tries the backhand wraparound. Puck just rolls off his stick, but Katanov's able to keep the zone with 1:28 left to go. Enforcers look to pick it up on the forehand. They reverse it around. Kishlevsky there to cut that out. He tries to find Meyerowicz in the slot. That puck just bounced over his stick, and the Raiders try and keep the zone. They do. Backhanded farther by Kishlevsky. Berliner turns. He's on the forehand. Shot comes in. Enforcers goalie helped there by his defenseman with 1:08 left to go. It's a save all the same by the Enforcers. Still Raiders 8, Enforcers 3.
Again, another close chance there for Berliner to bag his hat trick. Even Meyerowicz on the ice, just relentless, creating his own chances. You love to see it even at the end of the game. Even though you're up, you just love to see the pressure still on.
Well, Samosi and Bizarro out as the wingers. Enforcers able to get that out of the zone, and they try and get on the break here. They're gummed up by Tanoff at the blue line. Enforcers now take over the puck in the neutral zone. Only so far is Kishlevsky, who works that up to Marchuka. Under a minute to play here. Marchuka taken out of the play. Bizarro now covers for his center. Puck comes over to Samosi. Samosi is able to move that puck forward briefly. Bizarro takes over now. He has 3 Enforcers in front of him. He leaves it for Marchuka. Marchuka breaks in. He's on the forehand. Now leaves that for Samosi. Samosi fires a shot right off the goalie's leg pads. He's able to recover his rebound and send that puck in deeper. 33 seconds left to go here in the third period. Puck comes up to Samosi, who's covering at the point. Samosi on the forehand. Raiders calling for it in the slot. Hits a shin pad before it gets to those Raiders, and the Enforcers break out of the zone. Enforcers have the puck in the neutral zone. They chip it farther, just under Gossler's glove, but Tanoff is there with 15 seconds left on the forehand in his own end. Feathers that up and out of the zone. The Enforcers have the puck again in the neutral zone. Under 10 to go here as the Raiders look to chip it out of the zone. They get it so far as the blue line, but no farther. And Tanoff will have to recover with 2 seconds left in the third period. That looks to be all she wrote. It's going to be Raiders 8, Enforcers 3 here at World Ice Arena. Our thanks to RB for joining us here on the color commentary. And make sure to tune in again next weekend to Midnight Sports when we're going to have more youth hockey for you. But until then, thanks for watching and stay safe.